All right, so today we're going to be diving into the world of weight loss treatments.
Okay.
And to do this, we're going to be looking at a recent article that came out in Gizmodo, and this is talking all about semaglutide.
Oh, yeah, that's got a lot of buzz around it lately.
It does. It's really exciting stuff.
Yeah.
So I guess before we get ahead of ourselves and get into all the exciting new developments with semaglutide, maybe we should just rewind for a second and talk about what exactly it is for people who might not be familiar.
Sure. So semaglutide, it's actually a drug that mimics a hormone that's found in our bodies called GLP-1.
Okay.
And GLP-1, that plays a role in like regulating appetite and your metabolism and how fast your body digests food.
So it kind of like slows things down a bit.
Yeah. Basically, it helps you feel fuller for longer, so you naturally eat less.
Gotcha. And we're already seeing this with some medications that are out right now, like Ozempic and Wegovy.
Right. And both of those actually use semaglutide.
Yeah, Ozempic's the one for diabetes, right?
Yeah, that's right.
But I feel like a lot of people are using it off-label for weight loss too.
Yeah, you're definitely right about that. I've heard that quite a bit myself.
Even though Wegovy is actually approved for weight loss.
Right.
It's interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting.
Okay, so let's talk about this new trial. So this trial is testing a much higher dose of semaglutide than what we're seeing in Wegovy.
Yeah, so this is a pretty big deal. They're testing out 7.2 milligrams weekly.
Wow.
Compare that to Wegovy, which has a max of 2.4.
Okay, so that's like triple.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Okay, so what happened in this trial?
Well, the results were really, really impressive.
Okay.
So in the high dose group, some people lost over 20% of their body weight.
Wow.
Which is just incredible. I mean,
It's huge.
Yeah, it's a significant amount of weight loss.
Yeah.
And on average, the high dose group lost like almost 19% of their body weight compared to about 16% in the standard dose group.
Okay, so even when you like factor in people who maybe didn't like take the medication perfectly or, whatever.
It's still a pretty big difference.
Yeah, it's definitely a noticeable improvement.
Wow. Okay, so, but I'm sure people are wondering about side effects.
Oh, of course.
Like, is this safe?
Yeah, so from what we've seen so far, the higher dose was actually pretty well tolerated. Side effects were pretty similar to the lower dose.
So like what?
Nausea, some digestive upset, things like that.
The usual.
Yeah, pretty much. But it's important to remember that those are usually temporary.
Right. Okay. So it's kind of like a trade-off. You're willing to put up with some discomfort in the beginning for the potential benefits in the long run.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, always talk to your doctor before starting any new medication.
Of course, always good advice.
But yeah, it's definitely something to consider.
Okay. So we've been talking about Novo Nordisk, but they're not the only ones in this game, right?
Oh, right. Yeah, there's another player, Eli Lilly. They've got a drug called Tirzepatide, and it's making some serious waves.
Okay, I've heard of that one.
Yeah, it's available as Mounjaro for diabetes. Okay. And Zepbound for obesity.
Gotcha.
And there was actually a head-to-head trial where Tirzepatide actually did better than Wegovy in terms of weight loss.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah, it was pretty impressive.
Okay, so is semaglutide on its way out?
Well, I don't know about that. It's a fast-moving field.
Yeah.
Things are changing all the time. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah.
And, if semaglutide remains like the top dog or if something else comes along and takes the lead.
Yeah, it's really exciting to watch.
It is.
Okay, well, let's talk about the elephant in the room, cost.
Yeah.
I think we all know that these drugs aren't exactly cheap.
No, definitely not.
The current options are already like $1,000 a month.
Around there, yeah.
Which is a lot of money for a lot of people.
It is a barrier for sure.
Yeah, so it really makes you wonder if this higher dose gets approved, is it going to be even more expensive?
Right. It's a valid concern.
Yeah, and how does that impact access?
Exactly.
Like who gets to benefit from this?
Yeah, right. We need to think about, equity and making sure that everyone who needs these medications can actually get them.
Right. It feels like we're on the verge of like this huge revolution in obesity treatment.
Yeah, it does.
But there are these big question marks around like affordability and access.
Yeah, there's a lot to consider.
And I think that's where things get really interesting, right?
Absolutely.
Like, what does this all mean for the future?
Yeah, it's a really powerful technology.
Yeah.
And with that comes a lot of responsibility.
Right. So how do we navigate this?
Yeah.
Like, how do we use it responsibly?
Yeah. How do we make sure that it doesn't worsen existing inequalities?
Right. And like ethically.
Yeah. Are there ethical considerations that we need to think about?
Yeah. It's a lot to unpack.
It is.
So we're just scratching the surface here.
Yeah, definitely.
But we've got a lot more to discuss. So
Sure.
Stick around for part 2, where we're going to delve even deeper into all of this.
Yeah, it'll be a good one.
I think so.
Yeah, it really makes you think, doesn't it? Like, where does this all go?
Yeah, like what are the ripple effects?
Right, like imagine a world where getting the body you want is as easy as taking a pill.
Yeah, that's kind of like a mind-blowing thought.
It is. It's like it could totally change how we see weight and body image.
Yeah, like our whole culture could shift.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
But like with any powerful tool, you have to think about how it could be misused.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like, what if it ends up creating even more inequality?
Oh, totally. Like, what if it just comes down to who can afford it
Exactly.
and not like who actually needs it?
Right. And we already see so many disparities in healthcare.
Yeah.
It's like adding another layer of privilege on top of everything else.
Yeah, like certain body types become associated with wealth and status.
Right. And that just further marginalizes people who can't access those treatments.
Yeah, it's like a whole new kind of pressure.
It is a lot of pressure.
And it's not even just about money.
Right.
Like, what about the psychological impact?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we already live in a world where being thin is so idealized. And these drugs could make that even worse.
Definitely. It's a valid concern.
Yeah, like even if they're safe and they work,
Right.
they could feed into this unhealthy obsession with thinness.
Totally. People might push themselves too far,
Yeah.
trying to achieve something that's not realistic or healthy.
Right. It's like we need to find a way to balance,
We do.
like how to use these breakthroughs
Mhm.
without losing sight of the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Like, what about our relationship with food?
That's a good point. Like, could these drugs mess with our natural hunger cues?
Yeah, because they work by suppressing appetite, right?
Exactly.
So, like, are we going to end up more focused on how we look than how we feel?
It's a possibility.
Yeah, and like, will people stop nourishing themselves with healthy foods?
Right. Or stop enjoying physical activity.
Exactly.
It's about more than just the number on the scale.
It is. It's like, we need to understand our bodies
We do.
and recognize that well-being is not just about how we look.
Exactly. It's holistic.
It is.
It's mental, emotional, physical,
Yeah.
social, all of it.
Right. And it's interesting because a friend of mine was talking about this the other day.
Yeah.
She was like, we're so quick to change our bodies,
Right.
but we don't always focus on the emotional and mental side of things.
That's so true.
Yeah, it's like we need to have a more balanced approach.
I agree with that completely.
Yeah, so it's about making informed choices about our body
It is.
without all this pressure from society.
Right. And even from doctors sometimes.
Yeah, and that's a good point. Like, we need to respect people's autonomy
We do.
so that they can make their own decisions about their health
Absolutely.
without feeling coerced.
Exactly. And it's important to remember that these drugs, they're just one tool
Right.
in the toolbox.
Yeah.
Even if they become really widely available, we can't forget about all the other things that are important for healthy living.
Right. Like good nutrition,
Huh.
exercise, stress management.
Yeah. All of that.
It's like if you get a fancy new gadget, but you don't read the instructions.
Yeah.
You might get some results, but you're not using it to its full potential.
Right. You're missing the bigger picture.
Yeah, and I think that's where healthcare providers come in.
Absolutely. They play a crucial role.
They need to be able to talk to patients about all of this.
They do.
Like help them understand the complexities of weight loss
Yeah.
and make informed decisions that are right for them.
Exactly.
Like it feels like we need a shift in the healthcare system
They do.
to really integrate these new treatments effectively.
Yeah, it's not just about prescribing a pill.
Right.
It's about providing support.
Yeah, like counseling and mental health services and long-term follow-up.
Yeah, all of that.
It's a big challenge.
It is a big challenge.
But it needs a collaborative approach.
It does.
Like we need everyone working together.
We do doctors, researchers, policymakers, and most importantly, patients.
Yeah.
We all need to be on the same page.
To make sure these advancements lead to a healthier future.
Exactly. And a more equitable future.
Yeah, it feels like we're in uncharted territory here.
It does.
Like, we have these amazing treatments,
We do.
but there are all these ethical and societal questions that we need to answer.
Yeah, it's a very complex situation.
It is. It's exciting, but also kind of scary.
It is a little bit of both.
Yeah.
It's an exciting time, but we need to be cautious and thoughtful.
Right.
We need to be proactive in shaping the future we want,
Yeah,
a future where these technologies are used responsibly and ethically.
and where everyone has the opportunity to achieve well-being
Exactly.
without making existing inequalities worse.
Absolutely.
So what can we do? Like, what are some concrete steps?
Well, I think it starts with staying informed.
Okay.
Like, read about these new developments.
Yeah.
Talk to your healthcare providers.
Okay.
Share your thoughts and concerns with your community.
Right, like get involved in the conversation.
Exactly, because your voice matters.
Yeah, we need to move beyond the hype.
We do.
And really delve into the complexities, like what does responsible innovation actually look like?
Right, and what are the potential downsides that we need to watch out for?
Yeah, like what are the unintended consequences?
Exactly, we need to ask those tough questions.
Yeah.
And be willing to challenge assumptions.
Like what does success even mean when it comes to weight loss?
Right, is it just about the number on the scale?
Yeah.
Or is it about something deeper, something more holistic?
It feels like we're talking about so much more than just weight loss.
We are.
Like we're redefining our relationship with our bodies.
Exactly.
And with each other.
And that's what makes it so fascinating.
Yeah.
You know, we're not just talking about individual health outcomes.
Right.
But about how this could reshape our society.
Yeah, like our norms and expectations around body image and beauty and well-being.
Exactly. It's a huge question.
It is.
What does true well-being even mean in a world where we have this much control over our bodies?
Yeah, that's a great question.
It's a question that we need to be thinking about carefully.
So we've been talking about these new weight loss drugs and how they could really change things. Yeah. But it's not just about like losing weight.
Right. It's much bigger than that.
It feels like we're almost entering a whole new era.
I think so.
Like, what if changing our bodies becomes like as normal as getting a haircut?
It is a pretty wild thought, isn't it?
It is. It's like science fiction becoming reality.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder, like, would we even still be striving for that one ideal body type?
That's a good question.
Or would we start to see like a wider range of shapes and sizes being celebrated?
Yeah. Would we embrace that diversity?
Yeah.
Or would it just create a whole new set of pressures?
Totally.
Like, would certain body types still be seen as more desirable?
Right. Even though everyone could change.
Exactly. And what about like the psychological effects?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Would people feel more self-acceptance?
Yeah.
Or would there be this constant pressure to like optimize yourself?
Right. Like tweak and refine and never be satisfied.
Yeah, always chasing after some kind of perfection that doesn't even exist.
It's kind of scary, actually.
It is.
Right,
It's
right.
a lot to think about.
Yeah. It's like we're conducting a massive social experiment.
I know, right?
And we're talking about like changing how we see beauty and what it means to be healthy.
It's huge. It really is.
Yeah. And it's not just about how we look either.
Right.
It's about our relationship with food
Yeah.
and how we approach health and well-being in general.
Exactly.
Like if these drugs are suppressing appetite,
Right.
could they cause people to like lose touch with their body's natural hunger cues?
Yeah, that's a possibility.
Like, are we going to end up prioritizing how our bodies look
Yeah.
over how they feel?
And overnourishing ourselves properly.
Exactly.
It's a valid concern.
Yeah, and it reminds me of like cosmetic surgery and social media filters.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Like people are already changing their appearance,
They are.
but it doesn't necessarily make them healthier or happier.
Right. It's a good reminder that true well-being goes beyond just the physical,
Exactly.
mental, emotional, socially, all of it.
Yeah, it's about the whole package.
It really is.
So it feels like we're dealing with a lot of complexity here.
We are.
On the one hand, we have these incredible advancements
Yeah.
that could help people achieve their health goals.
Yeah.
But then there's the potential for downsides.
Yeah.
Like making existing inequalities worse
Right.
or fueling unhealthy obsession.
It's a double-edged sword for sure.
It is.
We have to be really careful.
Yeah, like how do we harness the power of these new technologies without causing harm?
That's the million-dollar question.
It is. And I think it starts with having open and honest conversations.
I agree completely.
Like the one we're having right now.
Yeah, we need to talk about the potential benefits and risks.
Right. And not just from like a scientific perspective.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We need to consider the social, ethical, and personal implications too.
Yeah, it's not just about what we can do.
Right.
It's about what we should do.
What kind of future do we want to create?
Exactly.
Where these technologies are used responsibly and ethically.
Yeah, where everyone benefits.
Exactly.
And I think this deep dive has shown us that.
It has.
Like we've only just begun to explore all of this.
Yeah, we've just scratched the surface.
But this conversation isn't going away anytime soon.
Definitely not.
Like we're on the verge of a huge shift
I think so.
in how we understand and relate to our bodies.
It's a really exciting time.
Yeah.
But also a time to be cautious and thoughtful.
Yeah, we need to ask tough questions,
I do.
challenge assumptions,
Absolutely.
and really grapple with the complexities.
That's how we move forward responsibly.
And I think the most important thing to remember is that this isn't just about science technology.
Right.
It's about people.
It is.
Their lives, their hopes, their fears.
Their well-being.
Yeah, so as we move forward, let's make sure we do it with respect.
Absolutely.
And a commitment to creating a world where everyone can thrive.
I think that's a great place to end it.
I do too. So this has been The Deep Dive.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
And we hope you'll keep exploring and questioning and engaging in these important conversations, because the future is being shaped right now, and your voice matters.
It really does.
And until next time,
Stay curious.
stay informed and keep diving deep.